The doorbell rings before I'm ready. I smooth my dress, take a deep breath, and open the door. Derek stands there, smiling too wide, holding a bottle of wine. His suit looks expensive, his confidence louder than words. Tina lingers behind him, her eyes soft, her smile unsure. They both smell like cold air and new money. Mom appears in the hallway, walking carefully, leaning on the wall. Her face brightens, but her hands tremble slightly. "You made it," she says, and her voice cracks on the last word. Derek hugs her too tightly, too fast, like a man performing affection. He talks about his real estate business, booming as always. He brags about the SUV parked outside, fully loaded, he says. Mom nods, pretending to listen, pretending to understand. I catch Tina watching her husband, something hidden in her eyes. The doorbell rings again, sharp and bright like a warning. Mia bursts in, heels clicking, perfume flooding the room. "Traffic was insane," she says, tossing her hair like she's on stage. Shopping bags swing from her arms, names of luxury brands shining. Mom reaches for her, but winces before her hand connects. I move quickly, steadying her before anyone notices. "Let me," I whisper, but she shakes her head. She wants to look strong, especially tonight. We all sit down, 4 adults pretending to be children again. The conversation starts light, easy, meaningless. Derek talks about property values and clients with private jets. Mia interrupts to show off her new bracelet. "A reward," she says. Tina passes the dishes quietly, her hands never still. Mom laughs in the right places, but her eyes look far away. I see it all like numbers that don't balance. Every smile too sharp, every word too rehearsed. Derek glances at me whenever money is mentioned. Mia talks faster, defending every purchase no one asked about. The candles flicker, casting their shadows across the table. I study those shadows like evidence. It feels like a meeting, not a meal. Mom reaches for her glass, her hand shaking slightly. "You've outdone yourself, Lila," Derek says. His tone sounds more like accusation than praise. I thank him anyway, because silence feels heavier. Mia scrolls her phone under the table, her face lit blue. Tina catches my eye and gives a small, sad smile. For a moment, I see her clearly, a woman trapped in someone else's life. Mom clears her throat, offering dessert too early. "Pumpkin or apple pie?" she asks. "Both," Derek says, laughing loudly. His laughter fills the room, but no one joins him. The sound echoes off the walls, too bright, too brittle. I feel something shift, something invisible cracking. It's small, almost nothing, but I know what it means. This dinner won't end with dessert. Something dark is waiting, just beyond the next laugh. And when it comes, none of us will ever eat together the same way again. The plates are cleared, and silence settles like dust. Mom smiles weakly, her fork resting untouched beside the pie. Derek leans back in his chair, eyes sharp, voice too calm. "Before dessert," he says, "there's something we need to discuss." The air thickens, heavy with warning. Mia stops mid-bite, her bracelet clinking against the glass. Tina freezes, eyes flicking between us. Derek's tone changes, the salesman replaced by something colder. "I know what you did, Lila," he says. The words hit like a slap. Mom's smile fades, confusion flooding her face. "What are you talking about?" she whispers. Derek slams his hand on the table, crystal glasses jumping. "The money," he says. "Mom's surgery fund, $47,000. The room holds its breath. Mia gasps softly, like she's been waiting for this. "You took it, didn't you?" she says. Her voice trembles with false outrage. I set down my napkin, my movements deliberate, controlled. "That's a serious accusation," I reply. Derek laughs, short and humorless. "Who else could it be? You handle her finances." Mom shakes her head, her lips forming silent words. "I don't believe this," she murmurs. Tina whispers Derek's name, a warning he ignores. You think we're blind, he continues. You always play the hero, the responsible one. Mia leans forward, eyes bright, cruel. You've always been Mom's favorite. Maybe you thought that made it okay. The words slice deeper than I expect. Mom covers her mouth, tears pooling at the edges of her eyes. Please, she says softly. Not now, not like this. But Derek won't stop. He paces behind his chair, feeding on his own fury. You used her passwords. You manage her accounts. It's obvious. Every sentence lands like a blow. Mia nods beside him, eager to agree, eager to belong. Tina stares down at her lap, silent, small. I feel my pulse, steady instead of quicken. This isn't shock, it's confirmation. I've seen the red flags, the strange withdrawals, the missing statements. I know exactly where this trail leads. I rise slowly, the chair scraping against the floor. You're wrong, I say quietly, but I know who is. Derek's face reddens. Don't play games, he snaps. Mom's voice breaks through, trembling and thin. Enough, she pleads. Please, this is Thanksgiving. No one moves. The ticking clock becomes unbearable. I look at Derek, then Mia, one by one. You want the truth, I say. You'll get it. Their confidence falters for the first time. Because the truth has been sitting quietly beside me all night, waiting. Waiting for this exact moment to step into the light. And when it does, it won't save any of us. It will burn the rest of this family down to ash. The house is silent the next morning. Mom's door stays closed, the light beneath it faint and still. I sit at the kitchen table, papers spread like broken glass. Bank statements, withdrawal slips, and balances that don't make sense. Numbers never lie, only people do. Every transaction has a shadow, and I follow each one. October 12th, 10,000 withdrawn while Mom was in surgery. Her signature shaky, but too perfect to be hers. I trace the ink with my finger and feel anger rise like heat. The camera footage arrives in my inbox at noon. Derek at the teller window, cap low, head down. Not low enough. The timestamp matches exactly. I print it and place it beside the forged signature. Evidence has a strange kind of silence. It doesn't argue or defend. Just tells the truth you can't unsee. I find more. 3 credit cards opened in Mom's name. Each one maxed out on designer brands, online orders, beauty salons. Shipping address, Mia's apartment. The proof stacks higher, heavier, undeniable. By evening, I know what I have to do. Mom sits in the living room, pale, her hip aching. She looks up as I enter with the folder in my hands. What's all that? She asks softly. The truth, I say, all of it. I spread the papers across the coffee table. Her eyes move slowly, line by line, her face draining of color. When she sees the footage, she flinches like she's been struck. Her hand covers her mouth, trembling. Not my son. She whispers, please, not him. I want to lie, but the evidence won't let me. There's no comfort in honesty, only clarity. Then she sees Mia's name on the credit accounts. Her shoulders shake, a sound escapes her, half sob, half disbelief. I gave them everything, she says, everything I had. I kneel beside her, but she pulls away. I need time, she whispers. I need to think. That night I can't sleep. The clock ticks, steady and cruel. At dawn, I hear movement, Mom walking to her study. I follow quietly. She's holding the folder again, eyes swollen but clear. You were right, she says. Her voice is calm, too calm. They took from me, from us. What do we do now? The question hangs heavy between us. We do what's right, I answer, even if it hurts. Later, Derek arrives without knocking. His eyes dart, his charm gone. Morning, he mutters, but his tone wavers. I slide the photo across the table. He freezes. For a moment, guilt flashes in his eyes before pride smothers it. You don't understand, he says. It was just borrowing. Forgery isn't borrowing, I reply. The front door opens again. Mia stands there, her face pale. She sees the folder, the papers, the truth. And in that moment, all of us know. There's no way back to the family we once were. Only forward, through fire, through consequence, through truth. The courthouse smells like cold marble and coffee. I sit beside Mom, her cane leaning against the bench. She looks smaller in this place, but her eyes are steady. The judge enters. The sound of the gavel cracks the air. Derek sits across the room, his suit too neat, his smile rehearsed. Mia keeps her head down, mascara smudged, hands twisting a tissue. I hold the folder tight, every document labeled, every lie exposed. The prosecutor begins, voice sharp, cutting through the silence. On multiple occasions, funds were withdrawn under forged signatures. The screen lights up with footage of Derek at the teller window. Mom gasps quietly, her fingers gripping mine. Derek stares straight ahead, jaw clenched, eyes burning. Mia shifts in her seat, pretending not to see herself in the evidence. 3 credit cards. 5,000 here, 10,000 there. Each purchase traced, each receipt tied to her name. Their lawyer speaks next, smooth and practiced. This is a misunderstanding, he says. A family matter, not a crime. Mom closes her eyes, pain flickering across her face. I rise when my name is called. Every step feels heavier than the last. The folder opens with a soft click, like a lock breaking. I speak slowly, clearly, explaining every withdrawal, every falsified line. The truth fills the room, no longer a secret, no longer mine alone. The prosecutor asks, were these transactions authorized by your mother? No, I say. She was in the hospital each time. A photo appears on the screen, Mom in her hospital bed, the same date as the withdrawals. A murmur moves through the courtroom. Derek looks away, his mask slipping. When Tina takes the stand, her voice trembles. I didn't know, she says, tears falling, but I found the papers in his drawer. Mom opens her eyes again, meeting her son's face. Her voice is barely above a whisper. Why Derek? He doesn't answer. His silence says everything. The judge listens, expression unreadable, hands folded. By afternoon, the air in the courtroom feels thin. The lawyer for Mia tries one last plea. She's young, impulsive, influenced by her brother. But the numbers don't care about excuses. They sit on the page, black and final. When the verdict comes, no one speaks. Derek, 15 months for fraud and elder abuse. Mia, 9 months probation, full restitution. Mom exhales, slow and shattering. Her tears fall soundlessly, hands folded in her lap. Outside, cameras flash, questions rise like smoke. I shield her from them, saying only, justice was served. We walk to the car without looking back. In the rearview mirror, the courthouse fades into rain. No one wins today, not really. But at least, for the first time, the truth stands unbroken. Winter comes early that year. The house feels quieter than ever before. Mom moves slowly, but without pain now. Her new hip holds steady, her steps sure and careful. I still wake at night, hearing echoes of that courtroom. The sound of the verdict, the silence that followed. Some days it feels like justice, other days like loss. Tina visits often, her son Leo always smiling. She brings soup, warmth, and stories that fill the empty spaces. She filed for divorce, but there's no bitterness in her voice. Just relief, soft and tired. Mom sits by the window most mornings, knitting in silence. The scar on her leg fades, but not the one on her heart. Letters arrive from relatives, full of judgment and pity. Some call us brave, others call us cruel. They talk about forgiveness like it's easy to find. But they weren't here when the truth broke this family apart. Mia writes from the halfway house. Her first letter is angry, the second full of excuses. By the third, her words soften into regret. Mom reads them in silence, then places them in a drawer. Maybe she means it, I say one evening. Mom doesn't answer, just stares at the snow outside. David's name never leaves her lips anymore. But I know she keeps his photo tucked inside her Bible. Forgiveness takes time, and time moves strangely here. I return to work, quieter, more focused. My boss asks if I'm ready to lead again. I tell him leadership feels different when you've seen betrayal up close. He nods, understanding more than I expect. Mom's church brings casseroles every Sunday. Neighbors shovel our driveway without being asked. Some kindnesses come when you least deserve them. Others arrive because pain recognizes pain. Karen calls to check on Mom once a week. Her voice is stronger now, full of purpose. She tells me she started volunteering at a shelter. We all find ways to rebuild. At night, I sit at the same kitchen table where everything fell apart. The scratches on the wood remind me of that night. The shouting, the tears, the truth finally speaking. Mom joins me with 2 cups of tea. "We survived," she says softly. "Barely," I reply. She smiles, the kind of smile that hurts but heals. Sometimes barely is enough. Outside, the snow begins to fall harder. The world feels clean, silent, forgiving. I think about the house we lost, the money, the lies. None of it matters now as much as peace does. We drink our tea in silence, warmth between our hands. For the first time in a long while, I believe her. Barely is enough. Enough to start again. Enough to remember that even broken families can still find light. Spring arrives quietly, soft and hesitant. The garden smells of damp earth and new beginnings. Mom kneels beside me, pressing tulip bulbs into the soil. Her movements are slow but steady, no longer fragile. "Don't bury them too deep," she reminds me, smiling faintly. I follow her lead, the ground cool beneath my fingers. It's been 6 months since the trial, but the air still feels heavy. The house has changed, smaller dinners, quieter mornings. But peace lives here now, even if it came at a cost. A letter rests in Mom's pocket, folded and worn. It came yesterday, written in Derek's careful handwriting. He's being released next month, wants to visit, wants to talk. I see the worry behind her calm expression. "What will you say?" I ask softly. "I don't know yet," she replies. Her hands keep working, pressing hope into the soil. She moves with purpose, as if planting forgiveness one seed at a time. Tina and Leo arrive, their laughter breaking the stillness. Leo runs through the garden, chasing sunlight, shouting my name. His joy fills the space where grief once lived. We go inside for lunch, the table smaller but warmer now. Mom sets out the same rose-patterned china. This time, no one pretends. No masks, no lies, just quiet understanding. Tina helps with the dishes, while Mom hums an old song. "Do you ever think about him?" Tina asks. "Every day," I admit, "but thinking isn't forgiving." She nods, drying the plate slowly. Outside, the wind shakes the tulip stakes we placed earlier. The future feels fragile but alive. Mom sorts the mail that evening, her fingers pausing on another envelope. This one from Mia, written in blue ink, her words careful, steady. She writes about her job at a thrift store, her therapy sessions, her remorse. "I'm trying, Mom," the letter says. "I want to be better." Mom reads it twice, then hands it to me. "What do you think?" she asks. "I think trying is a start," I say. She nods, folding the paper with care, not throwing it away. We return to the garden as the sun lowers, golden light spilling across the lawn. The tulip rows are neat, each one marked by a wooden stake. "They won't bloom for months," Mom says, "but they will." I watch her brush dirt from her hands, her face calm, peaceful. "You've come far," I tell her. "So have you," she answers. We sit together on the old bench, the sky deepening to amber. Inside, Leo's laughter drifts through the open window. Mom reaches into her pocket, touching Derek's letter but not opening it. "Whatever I decide," she says, "we'll face it together." I nod, feeling the truth settle gently between us. The garden glows in the fatting light, full of buried promises. This is what survival looks like, quiet, imperfect, but alive. And as the first stars appear, I realize something simple and real. We didn't lose everything. We just learned what was worth keeping. The sun sinks behind the trees, painting the garden in gold. Mom sits beside me, her cane resting against the bench. The tulips haven't bloomed yet, but their promise fills the air. She watches Leo chase butterflies, his laughter light and endless. Tina calls from the porch, her voice soft with belonging. The table inside waits, set for dinner, smaller but whole. Mom reaches into her pocket, unfolding Derek's letter once more. She reads it silently, then folds it again, slower this time. "I think I'll see him," she says, her eyes steady, calm. "Not for him," she adds, "but for me." I nod, understanding that forgiveness isn't surrender. It's choosing peace over the weight of what's gone. The wind moves through the garden, carrying the scent of earth and rain. Mom smiles, the kind of smile that feels like morning after a long night. "Everything grows again," she whispers. I take her hand, warm and steady in mine. Behind us, the house glows with soft light, no longer haunted. Ahead, the garden waits, roots deep, petals unseen. We sit there quietly, letting the day end without sorrow. Because sometimes, survival itself is the happy ending.